If impeachment hasn't shown us anything, it probably has shown us that the Democrats, the so-called party of the people, they don't care about the people anymore. They've been going on for impeachment for ever since even Trump won the election. Not even before he was even inaugurated. Okay, ever since he won the election in 2016 in November, they were saying we must impeach him, we must impeach him, and they've been going off for a lot of reasons to impeach him. They went with Russia, collusion with Russia, that turned out to be a huge dumpster fire, and then and they didn't have anything. Okay, and next thing you know, then they have the Ukraine, and when the president of the Ukraine says there was no quid pro quo, and you would expect Democrats to say, hey, maybe we should stop. But no, they decide to go through with it anyway. Even though the president literally says there was no quid pro quo. So what does this tell you? That the Democrats are only going after the president because they hate him. And that's not a good reason to impeach him. Can you imagine trying to get someone fired because you do not like them, regardless of whether or not they're actually doing a good job or not? But imagine that. I do not want this person working here because I do not like them. That's insane. But that's pretty much what they're giving us right now. And to mention, a lot of polls. I don't trust polls either. I don't trust them. But I take them with like a little bit. I take them with a little grain of salt. Okay. But a lot of people are not very happy that the Democrats are going with impeachment, especially when it's election season. When it's election season, and then you're trying to impeach the president, it's like literally trying to get the champion boxer, right? Like the boxing champion disqualified for like a crime or something. That way he doesn't have to compete. Therefore, he has to be forced to give up the belt, and then that way the number one contender can have an easy shot at the title. That's how I see it. Because the Democrats, they know they can't beat Trump. They know that their candidates, or at least their best candidates, they cannot beat him. So what do? Let's try to remove him from the competition. That way, at least our candidates have a shot. That's how I see it. Well, let's see what's going on in D.C., shall we? From the New York Times, it reads: the panel approves impeachment articles and sends charges for a House vote. A fiercely divided House Judiciary Committee pushed President Trump to the brink of impeachment on Friday, voting along party lines to approve charges that he abused the power of his office and obstructed Congress. Okay, explain. How did he abuse his power of his office, and how has he obstructed Congress? Those are your charges. Bring up the proof. Bring us witnesses, not just hearsay, but witnesses that were actually there to see President Trump abuse his power. Not just that's based on hearsay. After a fractious two-day debate steeped in the Constitution and shaped by the realities of a hyper-partisan era in American politics, the Democratic-controlled committee recommended that the House ratify two articles of impeachment against the 45th president. In back-to-back morning votes, they adopted each charge against Mr. Trump by a margin of 23 to 17 over howls of Republican protest. The partisan result and the contentious debate that preceded it were harbingers of the historic proceeding and vote on the House floor expected next week to impeach Mr. Trump, whose nearly 3-year tenure has exacerbated the nation's political divisions. Mr. Trump, who insists he did nothing wrong, is now only the fourth American president in history to face impeachment by the House of Representatives for high crimes and misdemeanors and possible conviction and removal from office by the Senate. Now, here's the thing: we've had four presidents be impeached. In this case, I'm gonna go with you right now. I think right now Trump has, let's see, okay, so he is now the only face. So apparently they're not going to impeach Trump. Apparently, and that is go through with it. Okay, but other presidents have been impeached before. The first one was Andrew Johnson. Okay, he was the president after Lincoln was assassinated, and he was a president during Reconstruction. The second president to be impeached was Bill Clinton. You know, the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. Well, apparently I think one of the reasons why they were impeaching him was because he lied under oath for some reason. I don't know. I think that was one of them. But it wasn't because he had an affair. That is not a crime. Okay. But my man, he's actually pick up women at that age. But that's a joke. Don't take it seriously, okay? But no, apparently, from one of the reasons why they tried to impeach him was because he lied under oath. The other one was Richard Nixon. Sorry, I actually skipped Nixon. The other one was Nixon, but he resigned before the whole thing could go into fruition because apparently either that he was probably guilty of something, I don't know. But before they even got a chance to impeach him, he decided to resign. Now here's the thing though: impeachment does not mean removal from the office. Impeachment means starting a trial. If impeachment is approved, it goes to the Senate. The Senate holds a trial, and then the Senate decides who. Not really. I think the Senate decides, but anyways, they put it up to a vote, and whether or not Trump is guilty or not, and then it's overseen by the Supreme Court justices, okay, such as Chief Roberts, Brett Kavanaugh. right? Sonia Sotomayor, etc. Okay, that's how it functions. So people think, yeah, let's impeach Trump. He's gonna automatically be removed from the office. No, it's a long process. The founding fathers were smart about this, saying that some people might be too committed to the party lines. Therefore, we need to build in fail safes. You want to impeach the president? Fine, but it has to be brought up to the vote by the Senate. That's how it is. That's why the founding fathers were probably one of the most intelligent people out there. They're saying, you know what? Let's build in fail safes within ourselves. Let's divide the powers of our government. That way, the change it's slow, but at least we know that if there's change, at least it's well thought out. Okay? But anyways, let's keep going. Where was I? Actually, wait. Actually, no. I was about to reread the same paragraph. The charges ratified on Friday arise from a House Intelligence Committee investigation that concluded this fall that the president has manipulated his administration to pressure Ukraine to investigate former Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr., his political rival, and a theory that Democrats conspired with Ukraine to interfere in the 2016 election. He did so, Democrats allege, using as leverage nearly 400 million in security assistance for Ukraine's fight against Russia, and coveted White House meeting for its president. Okay, stopping here for a bit. My question is, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Here's the thing, okay? President Trump, President Trump, all he did was ask, why did you guys do this? Why did you guys suddenly stop the investigation on when it came to Burisma and Hunter Biden? That's all he asked. He wasn't saying if you don't continue the investigation against Joe Biden, we're gonna cut all the aid from you, okay, and you're not gonna like it. He didn't say that. He didn't go. He wasn't even anywhere near that. He just said, why did you guys do it, right? It's kind of like if I asked my friend in a conversation, hey man, remember when you were doing this with your friends? Like, yeah. Why did you stop doing that all of a sudden? I'm not asking for a quid pro quo. I'm just asking, right? And if he doesn't want to answer, that's fine too, right? But if he does, I'm not like threatening him or anything like that. No, I just ask him a question. Even the president of the Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, has even said there was no quid pro quo. But the Democrats are going with this anyway. And like I said in the previous video, Zelensky even said he does not want this country to look like they're a bunch of beggars. So the Democrats, you would expect them to have a sense of honor and say, you know what? There's a country that is allied with us. I think we are. I think we are allied with the Ukraine. There's a country that is our ally. We do not want to make them look bad. And if the next president ends up becoming a Democrat, do you think Zelensky's going to want to negotiate or even talk to a member of the party that made his country look like a bunch of beggars? No, I wouldn't. I mean, why would I? You made my country look bad. You made my country think that we are dependent on the U.S. No, sure, we appreciate the aid, but we don't need U.S. money to thrive. Right? That's insane. But the Democrats, like I said, there's no honor among them. At least the majority of them. Yeah, the majority of them, because all they care about is removing Trump as much as possible, even if it makes our allies look bad. Mr. Trump then sought to conceal the scheme from Congress. Sorry, wait. There we go. The committee charged ordering on President across the board stonewalling of its investigation, unlike any in the history of the Republic. It amounted to an effort by the president to undermine the separation of powers and limit his accountability, they said. Okay, prove it. On what evidence do you have? Not on hearsay, but on actual witnesses, people that were there, people that were close to Trump. I want that. I don't want hearsay. I don't want to hear, well, I heard it from so and so, who heard it from so and so, who heard it from so and so, who heard it from so and so, and then who heard it from so and so, and then from so and so, and then from John Doe, who heard it from Jane Doe. Okay, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear, I was next to Trump when he did this and said he was going to do this. That's what I want. But they don't have it. Why? Because it's all made up. They just want to get rid of the guy. The vote took place in the Ways and Means Committee room the morning after a contentious 14-hour session in the Judiciary Committee that stretched past 11 p.m. on Thursday as Democrats turned back a number of Republican efforts to gut or weaken the charges, and members of both parties feuded over impeaching the president. Republicans argued not so much that Mr. Trump's conduct was not impeachable, but that his actions were justified and explained by more innocent intentions. Here's the thing. If Trump is very blunt, if he's very blunt and he's very rough around the edges, that's not a reason to impeach him. Okay, that's not a reason to impeach him. For example, in my job, I'm very strict when it comes to my job. I need to follow policies because at the end of the day, that's what I'm hired to do. And if my employees, my subordinates hate that I'm enforcing the rules, guess what? This is what I tell them. You have a problem with me enforcing the rules? Okay, and then go tell the supervisor, because they'll tell you the exact same thing. My job is to enforce the rules, make sure that I'm providing safe and healthy, not really safe and healthy, but safe food for the customers to eat. And if your actions are jeopardizing that food that you're giving to them, I'm gonna have a problem with you. And I told them, if you have a problem with me, go talk to the supervisor because they'll tell you the exact same thing. They will not take your side if you tell them that you're not using the proper equipment or you're not using the proper procedures to get the food, to cook the food. And then they're like, ugh. And they say they hate me, but in the end they can't get me fired. Why? Because I'm enforcing the rules. Okay, Trump can be brash, he can be an egotistical maniac sometimes, but that's not a reason to impeach him. Okay, that's not a reason to get him fired. Okay, but sorry, let's keep going. Representative Gerald Nadler, Democrat of New York, and the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, abruptly paused the session late Thursday night before bringing the articles to the final vote, saying he wanted members to take the time to search their consciousness before the historic roll call. After Republicans had dragged out the debate for hours, Democrats said they did not want such a consequential vote to occur in the dark of night when the American public was unlikely to be watching. And then some pictures of a few of Trump supporters, with their MAGA hats. Oh, what's this? A black Trump supporter? Man, I didn't know they existed. Of course, it's ironic, just so you know, that if you're watching this video and you're one of those leftists who just wants to hate on the video all the time, just so you know, yeah, they exist. They exist. Kind of like Hispanic Trump supporters exist. Okay? Andrew Johnson in 1868 and Bill Clinton. Okay, so they're bringing these up again. Okay. Andrew Johnson in 1868 and then Bill Clinton in 1998 were both impeached on largely partisan votes, but were later acquitted by the Senate. Richard M. Nixon resigned in 1974 after the Judiciary Committee had approved charges against him and just before the House could take a final vote to impeach him. But here's the thing, though. They're both, again, the impeachment votes for Johnson and then for Clinton, they were based on party lines. But the Democrats, when Bill Clinton was being impeached, they were fully against it. They were saying that if it's on party lines, yada yada, yada, it's a bad thing. This is an abuse of the power of Congress, yada yada yada. That's what they were going for. And now they're doing the exact same thing. Kind of shows you how fake they are. They talk about compassion and the Constitution says this, and then when it comes to Donald Trump, they say screw the Constitution. We will remove him because we don't like him. It's pretty funny, to say the least. But anyways, let's go. Talk of impeaching Mr. Trump began among some liberals as early as his inauguration day in 2017 and intensified this year when Democrats took control of the House amid a swirl of speculation about whether a special counsel investigation that will conclude that Mr. Trump's campaign had conspired with Russia to interfere in the 2016 election. Guess what? It didn't happen. In the end, the impeachment of Mr. Trump has unfolded rapidly and on the grounds that emerged only a few months ago. The Judiciary Committee votes came almost exactly 4 months after an anonymous CIA whistleblower submitted a complaint alleging a systematic campaign by the president to solicit Ukraine's help in the 2020 election. The House opened its inquiry in late September. On Friday, the Judiciary Committee endorsed the charge that Mr. Trump abused the powers of his office by pressuring Ukraine to announce investigations on his political rivals, using official acts as leverage as he sought advantage for his 2020 re-election campaign. Here's the thing, okay? The Democrats like to make it seem that Joe Biden poses a major threat to Trump. Okay, if you haven't seen Joe Biden on the campaign trail and on the debates, the guy isn't even a threat to his own grandson, with his own grandson. Okay, that isn't even has any. Doesn't he have any? But the point is, if Joe Biden were to go against a 5-year-old, the 5-year-old would kick their butts in a debate. Assuming that Joe Biden doesn't grab their shoulders and smells their head, right? But assuming that doesn't happen, the 5-year-old has a better way to articulate an argument than Joe Biden. Okay? He has a lot of gaps. You really think Donald Trump is going to have a hard time with Joe Biden? He's not. So I like how the Democrats are trying to prop up Joe Biden. Oh, he's just afraid of Joe Biden. No, trust me, I'm not afraid of Joe Biden. I'm not afraid of Joe Biden. And I'm 23. Donald Trump is like in his 70s now. The dude is not even afraid of. He wasn't even afraid of Hillary. You really think he's gonna be? You think he's gonna be afraid of Joe Biden? Come on, man. Come on. Anyways, let's keep going. Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other Democratic leaders have explicitly connected the Ukraine matter to Mr. Trump's embrace of Russian election assistance during the 2016 campaign, accusing the president of a broad and dangerous pattern of conduct they elected not to include additional charges outside of it. Democratic leaders have indicated the full House will debate and vote on the articles next week, with final approval likely following on Wednesday, just before Congress recess for Christmas and the New Year's holiday. They were lining up 2 more consequential votes to help soften the political liability for moderate Democrats in certain districts, including approval for Mr. Trump's new trade deal with Canada and Mexico. Impeachment votes by the Judiciary Committee have brought past presidents to their knees. Nixon resigned days afterward. Mr. Clinton promptly apologized for his actions and offered to accept a censure resolution by the House in lieu of impeachment. Mr. Trump has remained defiant, saying that he has done nothing wrong, and lambasting Democrats Friday morning as the party of lies and deception. Firing off a series of tweets hours before the vote, Mr. Trump praised Republicans for the defense of him and declared Republicans are the party of the American dream. I mean, I would agree because the Democrats are not the party of the people anymore. Coming from a former Democrat, and yes, I actually in my early years of college, I was actually a registered Democrat. I got pretty fed up with the 2016 elections. Like, you know what, screw this. So I decided to, you know what, the hell with this. I'm gonna vote as an independent. Apparently, I actually messed up. I guess when I was trying to scroll down, I pushed the arrows. I don't use my mouse. So apparently, when I try to scroll down, I guess I didn't see, but it put me by Republican by accident. But maybe it was fate saying, no, 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 you're gonna be Republican. But now I'm a registered Republican. But I'm still a centrist, so don't get me wrong. I will still agree with some Republican policies, but I'm more conservative than I was compared to my early college years. I'm much more conservative. Okay? It also helps to have a much better. It also helps to have a much better case. In fact, the Dems have no case at all. But the unity and sheer brilliance of these Republican warriors, all of them, was a beautiful sight to see. Dems have no answers and want it out, he wrote. Over the last 2 weeks, the president declined to send his lawyers to participate in the hearings or offer a White House defense before the House, breaking with the approach of Nixon and Mr. Clinton. He did not want to lend the proceedings legitimacy and argued he would get a fair trial in the Senate. And yes, they would. Probably. Right? But anyways, let's keep going. Republican leaders in the upper chamber indicated on Thursday in the run-up to the vote that they wanted a speedy trial and would work hand in glove with Mr. Trump's defense team. An announcement that quickly drew a review from Democrats who pointed out the senators take an oath to do impartial justice in an impeachment trial. Impartial justice. Oh, you guys, the Democrats have some nerve to say they want to do impartial justice. You guys were literally partisan throughout the entire charade. So you guys have the nerve to say we want an impartial justice. It's no, 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 man. You want to play partisan games? The Senate can play partisan games. And guess what? They're gonna call up all the witnesses that they want, not what you want. Okay? But again, this is what pisses me off about the Democrats, and this is how I know that they're not genuine. They don't have honor. They go through this entire partisan charade, this partisan sham, and then and then they even have the nerve to tell the Senate, you have to be impartial. We have to deliver impartial justice. Dude, sit the hell down. You're drunk and get the hell out of my house, right? That's insane. This literally pissed me off. Like, really, you have the nerve to tell them, be impartial, senators? Yeah, because the House was so good at being impartial. Senator Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky and the majority leader, predicted there was no chance 67 senators, two-thirds of majority needed for conviction, would vote to remove Mr. Trump in an election year. They wouldn't. I doubt that they would, because that will make the Democrats look bad. Like I said, can you imagine? Can you imagine the number one contender trying to get the world heavyweight boxing champion disqualified or arrested or convicted of a crime? That way, he's forced to give up the title, and therefore the number one contender has an easier shot at getting it. No one's gonna like the number one contender anymore. They're like, oh, you cheat. Oh, you only got it because you didn't even fight for it, right? It's insane, but that's how I see it. Okay, and I want to read more of this, but I want to read it into a 20-minute video, so I'm just gonna read the last paragraph. See, because everything is just about intelligence committee, and then there's gonna be like echoes and hard mess, and all about like Trump, how he's supposedly afraid, and how they're comparing him to Nixon. Okay, from what I'm seeing, I'm just glancing through this honestly. But anyways, the last paragraph says, however, the House never heard from some of the closest to Mr. Trump. That will tell you how bad this is. Okay, how bad the Democrats are so committed to removing him that they haven't even questioned any of the people close to Trump. It's just based on hearsay. Forget asking the person who works for Trump. They're gonna ask the person who heard it from someone, who heard it from someone, who heard it from someone, who heard it from John Doe, who heard it from Jane Doe, who heard it from Joe Schmo, who happens to work with Jane Schmo, who works for Trump. It's just a bunch of hearsay. Okay? But anyways, I'll read it again. However, the House never heard from someone of those closest to Mr. Trump who could have shed further light on the scheme and the president's thinking based on the White House orders not to comply. During the debate this week, the Republicans accused Democrats of rushing to conclusion without all the facts. Yes, and I agree with them. You can't just rush to conclusions because of your feelings, okay? Like Ben Shapiro says, facts don't care about your feelings. Okay, that's probably one of the most truthful one of the most truthful statements out there. Just because you feel the president should be impeached doesn't mean it's true. Just because I feel like I'm a white person doesn't mean that it's true. I'm not a white person, by the way. See what I mean? Facts don't care about your feelings. Democrats don't care about they don't care about the facts anymore. All the people that were brought up were based on hearsay. Zelensky even said there was no quid pro quo, and yet they're still going through with this anyway. What does that tell you about Democrats? That they don't care what other people say. All they care about is getting rid of Trump. And if Trump wins re-election, they're going to go through this whole thing all over again. They're going to try to find a new reason to get him impeached. It's insane. But anyways, that concludes the video. I'll see you guys in the next segment in regards to John Boyega. And because a few days ago, I actually made a video about SJWs getting mad at Daisy Ridley for unable to acknowledge her privilege, and they were defending John Boyega. And now John Boyega is being eaten alive by the people that defended him a few days ago. Oh, so beautiful. But anyways, I'll see you guys in a little bit.